everybody. It's another episode of Stick of Pork in It. Of course, with Shannon.
And Ev.
This is our first video podcast, so welcome to it. We hope you'll continue to follow along, comment, share, let us know what you think. But today's episode, Ev, you really brought this guy to the table.
Yeah, David Brown, he was a client that I met at one of our pantries in Palmetto, Florida, and has just an incredible story of, hope, bravery, resilience, the things that we see so often with the people in our world. But, he overcame a pretty unexpected and significant challenge that, really kind of put him and his family in a difficult place in a time where everyone is struggling. And we needed to share this story with you guys about how he got through that, what that took and where he's at today.
Yeah. So the little nuggets that you have that you're going to be hearing in just a second is how important family is, no matter who they are. It could be your traditional, extended, blended, dogs, all of that is in. But, we in our world, in food banking and hunger relief, pretty much at all 200 of our food banks, we know that any given day, you can be one step away from losing it all. And then you need to be able to depend on folks. And David was really the person to help share his story. So enjoy meeting David Brown. And thank you for listening and now watching Stick Pork in It. So excited to have you join us, David. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
We're doing great. Yeah. So, we're going to get to the meat and the heart of the discussion on why we're here today. But first of all, we want to know about you. Where'd you grow up?
I actually grew up in Hampton, Georgia. Drew and Kathy actually lived in our neighborhood, the owner Chick-fil-A. As kids growing up, it was kind of funny. We used to go cow tipping out there on his pasture, and we had a little bit of fun with that. And so it was always a good little group of people around.
So before we go any further, I got to tell you, I had younger years. It's not nice today. I get it. Peter, don't hate on me. But I did that too when I was young. I grew up in the country out in Odessa. So,
I can't say I've ever done it. I've there's like some cow pastures here, and I grew up in Tampa, but we've talked about it. We never actually tried it, but
So David, I can take you even. The cow pasture was behind the church, so when we had youth group and people didn't have their eyes on us, we would go and do that. Talk about
That's
angels.
funny.
We'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
So you had a really. Sounds like a great childhood in a terrific area. Are there tell us about a memory, like a family memory that, we're all about food here. That's the one thing we know we all have in common, no matter where, what, or when we come from, right? Do you have any really terrific memories beyond cow tipping that you did with your family?
Yeah, so like normal families through the holidays, we would all get together, and our biggest thing was we'd get together in Noonan, Georgia, and then in Conyers sometimes as well. And we had a pretty big family, so the food was always good, big old turkeys and hams, and it was just always good to get family oriented together to be able to kind of talk about family stuff going on, whether it be issues or whether it be just conversating over stories.
Yeah.
And always going through like stuff that's happened to people in the past, whether it be family, friends, whatever you have, it always brings the best out of it. Whenever things like that happens or stuff and to be able to get around the table and conversate about it and bounce off opinions off of your friends or families is always something I look to.
That's so very true. So when you were back, with those families, is there a favorite food? Everybody who hears this knows what EBS is, but what's your favorite food from your childhood?
Childhood, I would say, believe it or not, I do a country style, it's like a casserole It's like green bean casserole.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
And I do kind of a little bit different from what people normally do with bacon and then ham, onions, peppers, do mushroom sauce. Then I'll do the onions on top,
Wow.
make it really well, and it's really good.
You gotta send us that
Okay,
recipe.
can you? Yeah, you gotta send it. Because that I make that too in a different way, and it's my oldest son's favorite. If we're, of course, your traditional holidays, but every once in a while he'll go, "Mom, will you make the green bean casserole for whatever it is?" And it's like, that doesn't go with spaghetti dinner, but sure, because that's what parents do.
Exactly.
That's
So
awesome.
tell me about your family today. What's going on? You have your own family.
Yes. So my family, I'm actually a divorced parent. So now I'm remarried. So we have kind of a blended family. My wife was divorced as well back in the day. So we range from 25 all the way to 4, with 7 kids.
Was that down to 4, you said?
4?
Yeah, down to 4.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, we were just kind of living it up with the family, and family time is everything to me. Being able to be at ball games, cheerleading, gymnastics, any of that kind of stuff has always been my main part.
Enjoying all of your moments. How did you guys meet?
Actually, she moved from New Jersey down to Port Charlotte. And I was in a apartment complex down there. I was running a commercial tire center in Punta Gorda. And she moved and ended up right next door to me. So I was out on the balcony, and I was seeing this beautiful woman. I was like, man, I'm going to meet her one day. And not even 2 days later, she came over asking if I knew how to hang up pictures and knew how to put stuff up in the apartment. I was like, of course I do. I got everything you need.
Yeah.
So,
and it'll be perfect.
yes.
It will be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it went on from there. And I remember our first time we're on the porch, and I asked her, I go, can I give you a kiss? Like, of course you can. And, it went on from there, and we ended up getting married. And, it's been wonderful ever since. It's been a godsend, actually. I was a bad spot in my life at that point because I just got a divorce. So, the custody battles, the trials and errors that people always go through. And we always get at that deep time, and, whatever y'all prayed about it. And all of a sudden, and it turns my depression, my sad times, good times.
Gotcha.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
She brought you joy.
Yes.
That's amazing. And the kids, all of them are fun. Is there anything that you're doing with her children that are now your children too? But is there anything that you're doing with her children that might be a little different than your experience with your own?
Yes. With them being teenagers. So they came, and a lot of people would benefit from this anyways. They came from a bad father, was addicted, had issues. And, so the kids, it was like God brought us all together to help each other. And her kids were struggling, with everything. And what has been done in this almost 2 years now is amazing.
Yeah.
Kids went from broken down, stayed in their rooms with, just devious teenager things. Now they're thriving. They both have jobs. So I was helping my son out with his license. He fortunately didn't get it when he was 16, like every kid desires to. And so I helped him. We went to the Ellington DMV, got his permit, and did his license all in the same day. I would take him out in a parking lot and teach him how to parallel park, how to park, stuff like that for teenagers. And so he got his license. He ended up getting a job down there at Costco. And then we moved, that may be a little bit quick. Then he got a job at Costco, and my daughter actually trains dogs.
Okay.
So she was doing her own little adventure. She was only 13 at the time.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And making decent money for her kid. I mean, it was really good.
Yeah.
They both really have thrived. And then her older two still live in Florida. One lives in Ellington, and she worked. And her other daughter lives in Miami, and she's a stay-at-home mom. So it's been wonderful.
Yes.
That's so amazing.
It's been really cool to see them grow up like that, to be there for those kind of important phases of their lives.
Yeah, and then to see the hurt in some kids and to be able to give them a structure and a father figure that they haven't ever had, and it almost brings the kids to enjoy and to love those moments more than what normal kids would ever experience.
Yeah.
Right. So you help provide stability, which was what they've been lacking, right?
The whole time, yes.
Somebody they can count on to teach them how to drive, or tell them they're wonderful, and compliment them and let them know that they're cared for.
Exactly.
Step in and do that. You've done that for them.
Yes. And it comes to like it's such a little thing, but it means so much.
It does.
And we take that for granted.
I think Eb can probably chime in about that. His family, he's really, you tell your story, Eb.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Well, so yeah, I have basically I have a stepfather and two half sisters who are 13 years younger than me, so it's quite a gap, and it's just very interesting, kind of having almost like kids of your own, growing up, and just like seeing them through those milestones, and they're 20 and 18 now, and it's just such a you see them through all of these huge life changes, and it's just it really feels really good, to kind of be a support system for them.
100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. So this blended family, what holiday traditions have you guys come up with? Have you come up with anything of your own that you guys own that's special to you?
Not 100% because we are kind of all spread out now. But before that, we would, holidays, we would all get together, and then we have a beautiful grandson, and he is 1 and almost 2 right now.
Okay.
And he's getting bigger, so that's always been a big deal to be able to go see him, and then we bring the whole family down to Miami. We kind of go walk the malls and stuff like that. So that was always a big thing. Just anything family related.
Yeah.
Has always together. Been, is, what lacks in a lot of things in this world.
So life. Your blended family, you have all the way down from 1 as a grandchild, all the way up to 25 that spans.
Yep.
Wow.
8 people.
Yeah, 8 people.
Grandchild.
Spectrum.
Yeah, it goes. You get every. How do you want to call that? Every personality you can think of is there.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it feels like you're in a movie.
Oh yeah.
Called it Faces of Eve.
I always say if I could write my own book over my family, it would be a bestseller.
Get busy now. We're starting future talk right now.
Yeah, right.
ABC Action News is teaming up with Feeding Tampa Bay to help feed families in our community. Nearly 1 million local families, individuals, and seniors struggle every day to make ends meet. Your neighbor, friend, or family members may be making difficult choices today between bills, medical costs, or food. Together, we are placing food on their tables and building connections to services that provide better health and stability. Join us as we move closer to ending hunger by 2025. Visit abcactionnews.com/gives.
So, talk about, because our content team, how is Dave even on the show?
Yeah. So, we met, I think, last October, right? At, I think it was First UMC in Palmetto, a church that is an agency that helps Feeding Tampa Bay distribute the food that we receive. And, we were my team, the content team. We go out into the field and we, kind of gather content from all the different programs and distributions and stuff just to share with folks. And we try to talk to some of the people who are there. And David happened to be there at the time we visited because we had a partner donate dog food, and dog food's very important for our distributions because pets have to eat. And so we happened to meet David, who was there collecting some food for him and for his pup, who we got to meet. And we got to talk for a little bit, and I kind of learned about you, David, and why you were there. And you knew some people that volunteered there, and you said you had gotten some food from there before. And, we learned that you had recently, or you were recovering from a hard time, kind of a work injury, right? So, if you want to just kind of share a little with the listeners about what we talked about, the injury that you sustained and how that brought your pet into your life, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So I was actually a operations manager for commercial tires. So I oversaw pretty much everything that went on at the location. And so life was going good. I got married. We were 3 months into it, and tragedy happened. I was on a forklift, and it's a Moffett forklift that has 3 wheels and it goes on the back of the trailer. And I was getting up to the top of it, and then I was about 4 feet off the ground, and all of a sudden something let go and came to the ground. I ended up wedge fracturing my T12, broke T11, broke T10, shattered T12 disc, and then also have a disc in my L1. So kind of threw a big wrench in things. I was in the hospital for I think 5 or 7 days. 3 of the days I couldn't feel anything below my waist. I had no movement in my legs, no movement. And
that must have been a very frightening time for you and your new wife.
Yes.
Those 3 days. Reflect on that a little bit, what that was like to you.
Yeah, it was. So I've had, injuries in my past. I used to race motocross and do a lot of different things, but this one, it really took the cake. And it was like your whole life just gets like cut down, like halted so fastly that everything changed. Everything about the way you thought about your future, your past, your present, it was all what I felt like it was gone. But it actually opened up the door to opportunity. So, and it's sad, but we've always got to look at the best in every situation and where it can take you to your next steps. And that was kind of where we were going with it. We had to be positive because negative is not good, and especially in that and especially in that kind of outcome, like nobody can explain it unless they've been there. Like you can tell someone, oh, you lose feeling in your lower half of your body, and people are like, oh, well, that's kind of different. It's like it's not just kind of different. It's totally
in that moment, it's everything.
Everything. I mean, I didn't know if I was
everything.
Yeah, I didn't even know if I was going to walk. So we went through therapy there at the hospital for the next, I think, 3 days I was there, and then going home was just such a relief. Even though I was still hurting really, really bad and I couldn't really walk, it was just the comfort of family. Being there with your family and not having to sleep alone.
Yeah.
The best part about it is my wife is actually an LPN. So she took off for 2 weeks and trying to kind of read and around the house.
So what does that job entail for her?
Everything. I mean, not to get too graphic, but I couldn't even go to the bathroom without, as a dude, you got to kind of, it's hard. And for her to take that sacrifice so new into our relationship just shows the kind of woman she was.
Right.
It is, it was very hard on us because not only was I going, to go through the pain of not only having to work, but then having to take care of me, kids, just on financially, everything.
And that was, part of how we met. I don't know if you were collecting food for yourself that day, but, you had been to the pantry and you knew some folks there, and you were saying that, that had been a little bit of a help because the rent where you guys were living, you told me, was very high. And, so having just the one income for a while, you mentioned that the groceries were helpful.
Oh, yeah. So I actually at my church, I met my wife actually met him, which was Barb there. And they told us about the pantry. We're going to the pantry and doing that for a while. And then all of a sudden I was like, I kind of got dog, which we'll get into later, but I ended up starting to help out at the pantry, help people, bring the joy out, when you're there. I mean, these people, we come there in desperate need. We need help. And it's like, I always was thinking, like, man, it'd be awesome to bring like the joy out, and to make this like a joyful time, not depressing in this situation.
Right.
And,
well, you're helping to inspire other people. It's more that mentality. We're all in this together, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we don't know anyone who joins a food line just to try it out. There's
exactly
a reason he's there, and we know that needing food is really the root cause of so many other things. For instance, for you, you were injured, you couldn't work. Thankfully, you were from a 2-income family,
yes.
And your wife was really your personal medical team, which that was, both of those things were a gift. But from a shared income, I'm in a shared income family. If one of us stops working for whatever reason, our lives will change.
Exactly.
And that's, how did you guys, when that happened, it usually takes about 30 days, 60 days for it to catch up with you. How did you guys navigate that?
One, through the food pantries, through our local church, really good people around me, and determined to make it. We had to, ultimately it was, you had to have a home to live in, you had to have vehicles. So everything else you got to do away with. And unfortunately, you got to sit down and make those determinations of what's in life.
Right.
And family was it for me.
Yeah.
And so I think that was fun outside of, going out to dinner, spending $100, $200 there with the family of 7 just wasn't going to work. So it was about creating memories at home more than going out and doing stuff that's free. Parks, recreational, whenever I could do that. We would try to get out, but it's been a challenge.
Well, that's something that I was definitely, me and my team were so taken by when we got to talk to you in Palmetto, was just your positivity. Here you are with, rods in your back and stuff. You just recently recovered, and you were so, positive about the people you were meeting and everyone being helped, and how you kind of found that positivity. You talked about how possible it is for people to kind of sink into despair over that and to kind of lose their way. How for you were you able to kind of avoid that happening?
I haven't had rods yet. So I've actually denied that surgery twice now. But with it's, so I lean on faith for me. Faith brings out the good in a lot of people. Also, not having that mindset of, oh, poor me, what's that going to get you if anyway? Right. So my thing is always have a positive. We're all going to have ups and downs, but when you're down, try to think of all the positives you have. You got a roof over your head. Bills may be paid but late, but they're paid.
Right.
And your family loves you. Have all that kind of stacking up and just be thankful for the little things. Everybody always wants, fancy cars, the boats, the houses, all of our hopes and dreams. Yeah, but look at the little things and you'll be surprised with how happy and wonderful life actually is.
So speaking of little things, or maybe not so little, depends on the family. At Feeding Tampa Bay and at other food banks across the country, we feel that pets are family too. And if pets can't be taken care of, you mentioned the difficult choices that you had to make, and they were realistic. But some folks have to make choices on how they take care of their pets because they can't. So we met you, but we also met your fur baby.
Yes, Lobo.
Tell us about your fur baby. And I think, if I understand correctly, he came into your life, when you were struggling to recover.
Yes. So my wife had to go back to work. Obviously, she couldn't stay at home with me with not making money. So she had to go back to work about 2 weeks after my accident. And I was bedridden about 6 months. So during that time, about 6 months after, depression was real. And it was there. And it's like, is this the new life I'm going to have to live? Is this my legacy to live on? Is be bedridden and not have anything to do? And, your mind is sometimes a bad place. And we've got to always try to find positive. So my daughter, actually, Madison, she was 14 at the time. And she's like, let's go to the pound. Let's get you a dog to help. So we actually went to the Palmetto, Manatee County. And I fell in love with a dog. His name was Lobo. And
so can you get Lobo to come over to the screen with you?
Lobo. Come here, bud.
He's taking a deep nap back there.
Yeah. Lobo's works. Oh my goodness, Lobo works hard. We done woke him up. Aww.
He's such a handsome husky. For people who are,
is beautiful.
Just listening on Spotify or online, he's just the handsomest
dog. That's my doggy.
He has a face that you see on social media, like, y'all woke me up.
Oh yeah, yep. And the funniest part is, so we were. No. Thank you, buddy.
He's like, you woke me up for this.
Yeah, I know, right? The funny part is, so we were at the pound and we were sitting there looking at different dogs. Then Lobo walked. Lobo kind of had a story similar to mine. He was used by kids. He had in and out of foster care somewhat, if you want to call it.
Yep.
And it was only $5.
Wow.
Like, that's all I had to pay for.
Wow.
It was like everything just led up. And then from when I took him home, he was glued to my hip through everything I've ever been through, and all like food banks, even church, I would take him there. And the joy he brings to people and to myself, just because you have that. If people that have bonds with animals, it's a different kind of bond than what it is to a human. Mm-hmm. He will always be there, no matter what. And so it was kind of that bond, and he would go everywhere with me. He would not like to stay away from me. And
right.
It's been really great for me because I'm home alone. The kids are at work. And my wife's at work, so I'm kind of here by myself, and it brings joy. Go on a walk, go outside, or play, or even just lay on the couch.
Right, that we woke him up from.
Yeah.
As a hunger relief organization, we know that many people who seek healthy food for themselves also need quality food for their pets. We're very thankful to PetSmart Charities for providing pet food and grant funding, making it possible for those in our care to make one less difficult choice by providing for their entire family. PetSmart Charities is creating meaningful and important connections for people and their pets.
So, in hearing your story, it makes me think about how you've gotten through difficult times with family. He had difficult times and didn't have a family. And now he's gifted that.
Exactly.
And for being a dog lover, I have 3. He's happy. He's home.
Exactly.
You're home.
Yep.
Which is just an amazing thing. So your brother
has. It was like
join in.
Yep. It was like not only did I rescue him, he rescued me.
Exactly.
And through that, and then with the pantry as well, we used to go there, and they made him a mascot outfit and everything
Oh my gosh.
there. And we used to go, and all I would do is sit in the chair, and I would walk up to the cars and let Lobo see everybody, and it just brightened the mood up.
Yeah.
In there and have to go through this, and it was good to make people's day.
Yeah,
that's what they came there for. Everybody wanted to take this dog home, and it just.
I bet I saw a picture and I was like, "Oh, I need me one of those."
Yeah, and it was like I was telling y'all about, like Eve, about everything at the bank, and the choice to go there. It was like so easy to do. Especially when you go and you get quality food, you get quality dog food whenever they have these donations. And it's always been a huge, huge help for us. Yeah, I mean, you think a family, even a family of 4 or 5 or 3, they're spending $1,500 to $2,000 a month on food.
Yeah.
And if you can get just a little bit of help, I mean, it may not seem like much, but it's huge.
It is.
And it goes so far.
Yeah, and I know, you had mentioned, like we talked about, that you knew some people there, but it obviously wasn't an experience that you were used to, and we talked about it a bit at the food bank. So, how did it? Was there anything that you felt like you had to overcome to kind of to go over there and get that help that is available for folks? What kind of was that process like going there for the first time?
It was really homecoming when we went there. Everyone's always real friendly. Depending on where you go, sometimes you get places you can drop off prayers and stuff like that. It was just like basically going through a drive-through grocery store. I mean, it was simple as that. I mean, everything came from Publix, Walmart, any of your higher end food where you would go shop. It was just like, man, it's not just, potatoes and stale bread and all this stuff.
No,
it is.
It's healthy food.
Yeah. And
that you can offset or add things to, or, it's to boost your kitchen and boost your table. And, you mentioned some of our wonderful sponsors. PetSmart Charities is one of them, that they're so dedicated to making sure everyone has quality food for their home and their families.
Of course.
Because if you're healthy, if you're not, it's a problem. You can't learn, you can't play, you can't heal.
Mm-hmm.
You need all of those things, right?
Exactly. And especially to go into that, with little kids and stuff. And money just doesn't grow on trees,
We work hard for what we...
Yeah.
And that pet food is not cheap.
No. And I mean, even for me, before all this happened, I was making really good money. It just blink of an eye, and then it's great to know there's so many good things out there for people to get.
Yeah.
And just gotta really and accept it's there, go do it. Then the biggest thing for me was not only did I do it, but get involved and to be there. And you get a regular basis of people through, and you get to experience their lives a little bit and bring the joy out of certain things. The hard times they're going.
Yeah. And that becomes a whole other blended family, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like you're opening your heart. First of all, you're opening your mind to go ask for help, but then you open your heart and you make new friends.
Yes.
And people understand each other. It's like you're together. such a blessing for us, that we get to experience that on the regular.
Mm-hmm.
We're just helping lift people up that need it. And it can be anyone, anywhere that has something happen to them like you did. In a blink of an eye, your whole life changed.
Change it.
And a storm can cause it for some.
Yep.
Inflation can cause it for others. If you were teetering on the brink, and our current lifestyle now has really made it impossible for people, and they really need to go and seek help and know how welcome they are. And I really appreciate you telling that story, because hopefully anyone listening will open their heart up if they need help too.
Yes.
So you were in Ellington, which is kind of our beaches area on our west coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Near the beaches, Bradenton, Ellington.
Yep, Sarasota.
Almost Sarasota, which is, Manatee County is in our region, that we take care of the folks in Manatee County. But you're not there anymore. That's why we're on Zoom.
Yes.
So tell us about where you are today and how things are going for you now.
Okay. So today we moved actually the week of Christmas.
The week of Christmas?
Me and my wife, we just financially, and with being on workman's comp and having, to make a hard decision. And luckily for me, I have my father and my mom, we have houses up in Georgia, as they're like a family vacation. So what's that? So we actually moved up to a town right by Blue Ridge. It's called Bearsville, Georgia, up in the mountains. And it's been wonderful when you can walk out on your front porch and you see nothing but mountains and beautiful scenery. It can make somebody like me a little bit less depressed and really enjoy nature. Yeah. And so it was a hard move. My wife had to leave the VA. She was a nurse for the VA for 15 years. So, I mean, that was a big career change. Not career change, but change to her.
Right.
You go from a government agency now to the private sector.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there was a lot of praying. There was a lot of asking my fellow people from food pantries, from churches, like, what should we do? And for Florida, unfortunately, is very high rent. And we were spending half, if not 60%, 70% of our income just rent. Right. And it doesn't leave a whole lot of room and opportunities. Yeah. We made that decision, came up here, my rent's way less. Still trying to get doctors settled out, but we're getting there. Kids adjusted very well. They all got jobs already up here. Lobo loves it. He goes running up and down the mountain, and he's got little friends through here, because we got probably about 4.5, 5 acres here. And it's been great. And then actually my neighbor right next to us, which is actually like a grandparent, I've known him for much years, up there in age, godsend that he has nobody. So I'm here all day because of my situation. And I can go over and help him and help him with his groceries, his medication. It's been wonderful.
I never fail to be stunned, just wowed and impressed by the communities that people form. Even if it's, with people that you've known, it's just the kind of mutual support that I see so often in people in our world. And, I don't even think that it's like this thing where only people who are like that, kind of get involved with us. It's like, I think that capacity is in everyone, and it's so great to see that come out, especially in times of hardship when people are alone or in need. That just kind of comes to the surface.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one thing I never thought in my life. But I tell you what, it's been the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because then you get to see the struggle. And what people go through. And as somebody that was making decent money, we never looked at them, And it's just like, how many
You're
times?
Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that
Life kind of
tunnel,
had blinders kind of going through life, and then all of a sudden those just get blown off.
Yeah.
yeah,
But now you're in a new community that you can afford better to heal,
yep.
to get better. Physically, tell us where you're at, because, from those who are watching us on YouTube, they can see that you got up to go get Lobo, but let's let the listener hear about how you're doing.
So I'm actually, we are, Blairsville, Georgia is right on the border of Murphy, North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina is not far. So we're kind of right on that. It's like a perfect place, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go kind of anywhere, and the nature trails you can go on, the waterfalls are beautiful. It brought a different scenery like Florida. Florida is pretty much a one season state.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. On cold days, to me,
It is. No, Florida, dude.
like I'm in the snow when I go outside in Florida. My midnight cracks up. But the thing is all these wonderful things, waterfalls, hiking trails, the 4 acres, you're walking to them.
Yes, walking. So I am walking. I am in pain every day, but it's a pain I can tolerate, and I'm blessed to be able to still be here and to be walking, to be able to experience the nature, experience the little things. And so I'm still going through, I've had 8 surgeries so far through the spinal cord itself. I've had nerve blockers. I've had cauterizations of the spinal, the nerve ending. I suffer from a nerve tremors, if you want to call it that, at night. My legs, so they'll shake like real violently. So the nerve aspect's a little bit harder to pin down. My T12 is still in 3 pieces.
Wow.
I've been kind of avoiding surgery because my surgery is a little bit life-threatening and intensive. So they would actually have to cut me front instead of on my back because everything's crushed in the front.
Wow.
So not only would they cut you in the front, then they have to deflate their lung, move your organs out of the way just to get to that spine. So it's been a challenge trying to make that determination. Do I do this? Do I not? I'm 33 now, and pretty much once you hit rods in your back, everything below and above will have issues, itis, and other issues going on with it. So, kind of at a plateau right now, but it's okay. And surgery may be an option. And just pray about it and we'll get through it.
Yeah, so you have some difficult choices ahead of you. Scary too, because spinal surgery, there's a lot of risk with that.
There is
organs. It's a big decision to make.
There is, but
getting past, if you can peek past that, is there something that you're looking forward to that kind of keeps you? It's like your center, your sun, if you will, that kind of really, I have to say, keeps you brave, because I've been listening to you this whole time and you're really going through challenges, and I know through faith, because we've been talking, that you are able to stay brave and connected with everyone. But what are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to being able to enjoy life again with other aspects. Like I was huge at athletic, motocross, boating, offshore fishing, going trail riding, mudding, you name it, I was doing it. I was look forward to that, and that's kind of another part of me wants to help people. through doing like stuff like this as well. Food pantries, just kind of tell my story and what I mean. It's a continued story, but it's a lot that someone's going through, and I can still be positive about. Kind of something that hits home, because a lot of people don't do that. They just kind of stay in their cocoon, and they don't really want to venture out, try to help others. That's kind of my dream, I guess, would be to do stuff
like what?
Like this.
Yeah.
Like podcasts or meet people, or it's always a salesman. I love talking. I love being.
Yeah.
And that's always been my dedication.
Yeah.
So our time for the show is almost over, but we like to do a few fun questions that really have nothing to do with anything, but the fact that we know people have a great time around the table, and you explain that from your past family, your current family. So if you had a table of 4, you being one of them, and you could fill it with 3 people. They could be people that you've met before. They could be family. They could be someone you've never met. They could be someone who's in heaven. Who are you asking to join you at the table?
It's a fun. It could be a fun question, or it could be more down deep.
Yeah, you can go any direction you like.
Yeah, whatever way you feel like going.
My grandma was always a huge attribute or insight to my life, and for her, I would love to have her at the table again because of what I've become. And for her to say, would be really cool. That would be one. My brother would be another. My brothers, I guess, and probably my wife, actually. I just
family.
Yeah, I mean
Family.
Family's everything, and we take it for granted, and that's something that we all should not do, because when tragedy happens, what do you have? You don't have that family. What do you truly?
Right.
You have your people.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right. So since your grandmother's at the table, is she cooking the meal?
Yes, got to. And then she always has to have that. She called it dirt pudding.
Dirt pudding.
And, yeah.
Chocolate pudding with the.
It's like crushed Oreos with mixed in, and it has layers.
So good.
And I have not yet to get that recipe. I want to get it. It is so good.
We'll trade you for your green bean casserole.
Yeah.
Yes, I can hook you up, because I used to do that for my kids, but then I put the gummy worms through it.
Yeah.
So then as you're digging in, you put a worm or a bug, like gummy, little critters, I'll put it in. David, I want to thank you for your time. The long story short is family is helping get you through the hardest time in your life, something you've never expected. And family can mean a bunch of different things. It can be your blood relations. It could be your friends. It could be folks at your church. And most importantly, it can be your pet.
Yes.
So family is very diverse, and you are surrounded with love. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep up with us. Let us know what's going on. Email Ev and I. We'd love to see some pictures of the fam. And we really, really appreciate you telling your story and letting people know you just got to go. Just got to go get help.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much for what you're doing.
Absolutely.
It's inspirational.
You can learn more about Feeding Tampa Bay and how to join the movement at feedingtampabay.org. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok at Feeding Tampa Bay.